Welcome to Mike's apartment, where we usually review drinks and culinary items. Today, however, we are doing Game Master Support, Episode 6. This is where we take 3 questions from the internet regarding dungeon masters and game masters and the problems they are facing. Between the two of us, we have probably clearly over 50 years of experience with all of that. And I guess without further ado, I am Mike. I'm your host. With me is Thom, my co-host. Thom,
Mhm.
how are we? You ready for some questions tonight?
It's funny what this time when you mentioned the 50 plus years combined experience, I and then I had this idea about what is our combined maturity level, like 11?
5, no, 5 years old. No, I'm just kidding. I give it a 10.
I mean, well, yeah, maybe a 5-year-old, whatever, in a Stephen King novel who says the F bomb every like 3 minutes.
Yes, typical children.
But
But alrighty, so we're gonna. So again, these questions are from the internet. They're from various platforms. They are from various people. We don't identify either. Again, if you like what you see, subscribe, like, dislike, ding the bell, share, comment negatively or positively, however you want to. We'll go over that again. But yeah, if you do have a question that you want us to answer, and you're okay with it being public, we'll definitely do a shout out to you and
yeah.
and try to
Mhm.
answer your question in the best way that we can. All right, without further ado, I got this on my phone here.
Yeah,
So
I'm a little worried because Mike said when he pulled these up just before the show. Neither of us had looked at these before the show,
yeah,
and I haven't looked at any of them yet. Mike said they're all bad, so I
I
I'm
mean,
ready. I'm ready.
and by bad, I mean good. No, just kidding. All right. Oh yeah, this one's fucked up. I can already. This one's already okay.
All right, what
Okay.
did I say about the f bombs?
Okay.
Everybody,
All right.
here we go.
All right. My campaign has turned into a three-way relationship situation, and
What
I am
again?
stuck in the middle of it as a DM. Two of my players are no. So this is how it's different. I know what you're talking about. The one from a few episodes ago. This one's
Yeah.
different. This one's definitely different.
Okay. Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
Two of my players are a couple in real life. A third player started to join a few months ago, and over time they all started flirting. First in character and then out of character. Uh,
Oh no.
Now they have openly told me that they're in
Okay.
some kind of three-way relationship, and it's
Okay.
bleeding heavily into the game. Their characters are constantly together, they dominate scenes with very personal role play, and the rest of the table is clearly uncomfortable but not saying anything. Here's where it gets worse. There's tension between them in real life. It shows up immediately in game. One session was basically an hour of passive aggressive dialogue disguised as roleplay. I feel like I'm accidentally hosting their relationship instead of the campaign. How do I shut this down and risk blowing up their dynamic, or is it not my place to interfere? Go ahead, Thom.
So what is that called? The poly relationship
Yeah, just
term?
yeah,
The
polygamist,
poly.
polygamy.
Well, I think
Oh,
there's another
oh no
word.
no that's marriage. Yeah, that's marriage.
There's
Poly.
if I have a trans friend who's in a poly whatever relationship with a few people, and that's something that
Yeah.
they agreed on. Which I mean, they're adults. That's their decision. So whatever my comments here are not on that kind of a relationship. In the last video and our other videos, I always when we're talking about role playing, the game is meant to be fun for everybody. Um, and normally, I would suggest maybe taking the player aside and having a conversation. But in this case, the
Taking the 3 players aside.
you have three players whose lives are all three of I don't know how many people are in this game,
I don't know.
but
Yeah, he
all
doesn't
three of
say,
them
or they
are
don't say.
basically dominating the game, and one of two things. I think, and I think this depends on the game master or dungeon master, and what they're comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
When you get the one option one, you get the group together when they're scheduled to play, and then you have a conversation with the group and say, "Look, I understand the three of you have whatever going on, and it's bleeding into the game, and I know that it's causing issues with everybody having fun, and that's what the point of the game is. And sometimes your personal issues cause issues in the game, all that, um, or and have that conversation, or stop the game, end it, start a new game with the other player characters, or if you want to have the a game with those three people, that's fine. Have a game with them where it's not affecting everybody, and you've all agreed on the the ground rules. But um, so oh, my dogs are barking. I don't know if you can hear that, but
Yeah, a little bit.
um, anyways, I don't. This is a very complex thing to think about. I
That
mean,
said
I
though, it's familiar. Because let me ask you this
yeah.
question. I'm not going to name names. Over the years though, we have had friends groups where people have switched partners and yet
Mhm.
like like I I probably shouldn't use names here. I really shouldn't. But I think you know what I'm talking about. There are definitely there are definitely people, not necessarily like, I don't know that anyone has ever had like a three-way type relationship, but I am
Mhm.
aware that like people who are playing in the game break up with each other and then get together with a new person who is also in the friend sphere,
Mhm.
and it kind of complicates like a lot of things.
It does.
Um,
I would say, maybe stop the game and just start a new one. You could maybe do it with the same group, but establish ground rules.
yeah.
I don't know. Go on. Go on. I'm sorry. I interrupted you again.
No, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Interrupt me at will. I'm used to it.
Sorry, I'm
I
giving my dog a
th-
back
this
massage here.
this is a hard. This is like a hard situation. But yeah,
Mhm.
I'm mostly inclined to agree with you. Either that, or just have instead of like a whole new game, maybe just have a session zero where we discuss the three of them, and we discuss the boundaries the three of them can
Yeah.
go in game, and if they're having out of game shit going on, don't bring it into the game. You leave it out there. Like all of us do. We all
Well,
have
well, session new
like,
would be starting a new game. You said
oh
not
no no no
starting a
no no
new
no
game.
no. You can do a session zero with the same characters. Believe it or not.
You can't. Oh,
Oh
in an
yes.
existing game.
Yep,
Okay.
yep. You 100%. Session
So it's like a
zero is
side
not just,
story with
well,
those three
it's
characters.
more like you take, let's just say you take a break. You take a stop at where every all the characters are at once, and then
Mhm.
you reimagine with the dungeon masters, with their, they're overseeing it. They're the ones saying, whatever. You oversee that, and then the characters take on the roles. They can be the same characters. They can be, if you all are like level
Okay.
9,
So it's
whatever.
like a reset, is what
Exactly.
you're saying.
Yeah, like I call it another session zero, but yes, it's like a reset where the entire campaign is basically reimagined with these three characters no longer having romantic aspects of themselves towards each other in the game. If they want to take whatever they want to do outside of the game, more power to them. They want to all have whatever they're having. Great,
Mhm.
great. We wish the best for them. However, for this game, for this right now, these three characters cannot you cannot take what's happening in real life and have that bleed into this. And if they can't do
Yeah.
that, then you know what? Then yeah, separate them. Have different games. Kick
Yeah.
someone out of a game. Have them start a new game. Have whatever
I think
happen.
that's
I mean,
yeah, I think
that's
that's a better idea than what I suggested. my suggestions would be after a proposed reset. Then
Yeah. But all right,
so
you ready for the next fucked up question?
was that which question was this one?
That
We
was
just
only number one. That was
we
only
sorry, I am only asking because we just did another one before this.
okay. This one walk on eggshells on because you and I are straight cis men, white. We're white Anglo-Saxon. We're
I
wider.
have a
What
I have
we're
a trans friend who I've been able to kind of
well. This I don't
acclimate to being sensitive.
having a
No, I mean
trans
I'm not.
friend
I'm
does not.
but
Yeah.
that said, I still sometimes struggle with being a recovered, extremely right wing Pentecostal from a family who believed that if you were saved, you spoke in tongues. I mean, very nearly like the snake biting kind of whatever. You
Well,
know those faiths where like if you stuck your hand in the box with the snakes, then
so
they if they what go on.
so you're a Christian nationalist. I get it. No, I'm just
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm a recovering. I still believe in God and all that, but I'm a recovering extremist.
okay. So let's dive in here. Um, I've tried to handle a situation involving an LGBTQ player, and now I think I made it worse. One of my
Oh,
players recently came out and wanted their character to reflect that more openly in the story. I supported it, but to be honest, I wasn't fully confident in how to integrate it naturally into the world. Another
mm-hmm.
another player uh, made what they claimed was a joke or during a session that clearly crossed a line.
Oh,
It wasn't outright hateful, but it wasn't good either. The table went quiet, and I kind of moved on instead of addressing it directly. After the session, the player who came out messaged me and said they didn't feel comfortable anymore and that they're thinking about leaving the group. Now I'm stuck between not wanting to overcorrect and wanting to make things awkward, but also realizing I probably should have stepped in immediately. How do you fix something like this after the moment has already passed? And you're the one with the trans friend, so why don't you go ahead and answer that, Thom?
well, I mean, my experience with my trans friend doesn't apply to this, but I think the FFS email, the for fuck's sake
Oh,
email encounter, kind of does, because um, there had been a few emails going back and forth, and I never really stepped in
hmm
and said, you know what, the game was stopped because people were arguing. Uh, and so I never did that. And the emails that went back and forth broke down, and the game just ended. Now this is that was a different situation than somebody's gender identity or whatever in them coming out. That's a huge thing for them,
yeah, they
right?
didn't. Yeah, they didn't
That's
specify that, but yeah.
so. But I mean, if you think about it, so if I remember the comment or the question correctly, the person had recently come out. Did
hmm
they say they were gay, or did they say what or no,
I don't think
transgender
I don't
or
think they Thom, I don't know that they did. This is what it said. Um, one of my players recently came out and wanted their character to reflect that more
okay?
openly in the story. I supported it, but I'll be honest, I wasn't fully confident on how to integrate that naturally into the
Mhm.
world. It doesn't say, and honestly, I'm not
Okay.
sure that it matters
No,
specifically, other than the fact that
no,
they had changed, their character reflected that, and they wanted more. They wanted some sensitivity about it, and the other player
yeah,
was obviously, making a very thoughtless joke, is what I would take from
yeah.
that. Like,
I mean, I could see the argument. I'm not validating it,
yeah,
but I could see the argument of the other player saying, "Oh, that's just what my character would have said." But I think with a situation like that, even if that's what your character would have said, you should have been more sensitive Now, this already happened, and there's already this tension with the person who came out uh, wanting to leave because they don't feel comfortable. So I think this is another opportunity for a reset. But I don't think it, I mean you could maybe a session what you call the zero reset could help, but I think a conversation, and this depends on the game master or dungeon master's what comfort level, but I think a conversation with the entire group would be appropriate when you start the next game and just say, look, in the last game or whatever, maybe it was 3 games ago, I don't know. Um, we know that John or Jean, whatever, came out and they wanted to incorporate their life experience into their character. So maybe it's a way for them to explore it. That's kind of that is one advantage to like role playing is you can explore real life situations that you're
And
going through.
hopefully in a safe,
Yeah.
accepting type, community where
So yeah, which is what this is about. That the
yeah.
person who came out doesn't feel safe anymore. So the game is meant to be fun, right, for everybody. Like I've said
Mm,
in like pretty much
yeah.
every episode, is the DM, GM, whatever the players, they all need to. Everybody needs to be having fun, and when something doesn't feel safe anymore, that obviously that's not fun. So we need to reset. So I think having a conversation and reestablishing maybe establishing new ground rules because before the person came out, maybe that rule wasn't there. Um, I I uh, I used to play in a group that we met in person with our friend that you like to call One T.
Oh yeah.
Uh, but there were a couple of
That
lesbians in
I
the
like
group.
that I like to call. I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
yeah. No, there were a couple lesbians in the group, and one of them had joined after we had been playing for a while, and I wasn't sure, like, uh, like how my character would relate to her. And then her character initiated romantic stuff with my character, and then we played off of that, and it was fine. Um, and I'm trying to
Well,
think what my point was. I lost my point. God dang it! I'm gonna sound like
you know,
I don't know.
can I throw something out there?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
What what if we, because the clear thing is this: you and I are not going to have the ability to necessarily answer every question along that vein,
Correct.
but it seems to be popular enough where there is
Well,
definitely
yeah.
a need for something like that. Now, I don't remember what their name is
We're
now. What
we're
if we
cis white.
invited
We're cis white male, whatever, all that, right? I
what if
mean,
we
oh,
invited, remember, and this is their old name, so forgive me, I'm not trying to, this is just, I'm trying to reference a person that that the old me knew, but I didn't, obviously, like, I know they transitioned and everything else happened. Jay.
oh, Jay, yeah, Jay.
What if we invited Jay to come on here with us and help us answer some of these questions that are uniquely, LGBTQ
I
related?
can't
Like,
remember what her name is now.
I don't remember it either, but if we could ask her
She's hot,
if she would like to, well,
but
I, that's
no,
beside the point. I just need
yeah,
I think we just need someone who's more of
yeah, I
a
think so.
person in that.
I think too. Yeah,
I can reach
that would
out.
be
I
good
can reach out to her and see if she would
because
be interested.
she, if I recall correctly, she played D&D
She still
a
does,
lot.
from what I know. Yeah, I
She
mean,
does.
so let's. I would just say, the thing is, this is like we're struggling, and we need. If there's going to be questions like this, and this seems to happen more often than not, we might need someone to help us answer these questions because it's.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, we've never had to experience coming out amongst a group of people who you were worried about judging you. My trans friend has a friend that's living with her that is also trans, and her family uh, was really judgmental and controlling and all that. So she was hiding from them and all that. We can't answer these kind of questions, and then a lot of these kinds of situations may be fueling why some of these people are doing some of
Yeah.
the stuff they are doing in the game, and it's a way for them to try to process
It's
things.
supposed to be a
So
safe place,
it
but
is.
there are ignorant and not
I think.
thoughtless questions that or thoughtless
Yeah.
actions that are said, and you know,
I. Yeah.
and maybe we need help. You know, we should, and
I
we should
think
feel
we
like that.
do.
Yeah, I'll reach
I.
out.
I
I'll reach out to Jay. I have her information. I'll reach out to her and see if she's
if
interested in joining us. But
if I can say one thing
sure.
though, be without delving into maybe the specifics of transgender or coming out interactions in a group with somebody making an inappropriate comment. Um, I think it's if you are a game master or a dungeon master, and I have failed at this, which is maybe why I'm more aware of it now. It it's your responsibility if you find out a player doesn't feel safe, address the issue and promise them. I mean, no pressure for them to come back to the game, but promise them that you will address the issue in a way that you hope to resolve that issue. And if the person who is not willing to, if the other person who made the offense is not willing to be respectful, they're not welcome. Disrespectful players should not be welcome back to a game, in my opinion.
I agree. Yeah. There's no room for that kind of bigotry and that kind
No,
of thing,
no.
especially in a game that's supposed to be open and you know, I don't know. All right, so let's
And if I said anything offensive to transgender or gay people, I apologize. I've had a couple of these today, so I did not intend any.
I think you're fine, Tom. I'm just
Okay,
saying the fact that we're aware enough to know that we can't answer all the questions like this and that we need help and to reach out for that help. We'll see. Again, no promises. I have no idea what former Jay will say about it. We'll ask. We'll ask. We'll see. We'll say. You know, I'll just say. You know, we are running into a lot of questions that we're not necessarily qualified to answer, and we would love to have the help. You know, on these shows to do so. So
and maybe we need to find like if she is welcome open to joining us. Maybe find if maybe we could probably do like a dozens of episodes, but
yeah,
find some questions and save them
sure, for sure.
for her to help us
And there
with.
seem to be quite a few. All right, excuse me. All right, moving on. Question three. All right. Let's see here. This one might be a little easier. One of my players refuses to disengage from the game, even when the session ends, and it's starting to get concerning. At first, it was enthusiasm. He'd message me ideas about sessions, ask questions, build out of his character. Totally fine. Now it's constant. He messages me all day trying to find or trying to take actions outside of sessions. He'll say things like, "While everyone else is resting, I go do X, Y, and Z and expect it to count." If I don't respond, he follows up repeatedly. If I tell him we'll handle it next session, he pushes back and says that it's unfair to limit his character's agency. Last week, he showed up early to my house and said, "Figured we could just start playing even though the group wasn't there yet." I I don't think
Oh,
he's trying to be creepy, but I think he genuinely can't turn it off. How do you set boundaries with someone who doesn't seem to recognize them? Tom?
be firm. Don't let him into your house if he comes early.
Yeah.
I think that this comes back to I can't remember if it was the last episode or this one because we're filming back to back. But you set boundaries. You tell, and if he's like messaging you out a game or whatever, like, you know what, I just communicate.
Hmm.
Communication is key. So you first tell them, okay, you're you're starting to overwhelm my life, and I have responsibilities. I don't know if the game master has a family or not or whatever, but they probably have a job, right? So they have stuff, and they have other things that they need to do, right?
Yeah.
Uh, so uh, so first off, I would say establish those boundaries. Uh, in a written format so that they're written out and the person can see, because this is not about like being offensive or not. This is about saying, hey, look, I appreciate your enthusiasm, but right now you're like taking over my life.
Sure.
I have things I need to do. I have other stuff I want to do. I have stuff I like to do for fun that are outside of this or whatever. I have a wife and kids, or a husband and kids, or I have an ailing parent or something that I'm trying to take care of. Back the fuck off. Here's when you can talk to me about this. Office hours, like a college professor has, right?
Yeah.
So office hours for DM. I mean, you can always email your DM or message them on Discord or whatever, however you communicate um, outside a game. I do that, but I don't pester them. I just say, hey, I just had this idea. Can we? Would I? Would this work or whatever? Here's my character sheet or what? I don't know, whatever. But but establish boundaries, and if they keep overstepping those boundaries, be tell them, I'm not letting you into my house if you come early before the game.
Yeah.
If you keep messaging me, I'm not going to respond to you out of my office hours. uh, and if yeah, et cetera, et cetera. And if it gets to a point where even that doesn't work, to say, you know what, you're not welcome in my game, because the game, like I keep saying, it's meant to be fun for the DM, game master, the players. No one's excluded. And if someone starts trying to take over your life because they're so invested in a character,
Sure.
that's not allowed.
Sure.
And if they can't follow those boundaries, they're out.
Oh, I couldn't agree more with you. That's exactly how I would also handle it. Yeah, you just gotta take them aside and just be like, okay, I get that you love the game. You know what? I am so thrilled. I am so,
Yeah,
it's uplifting to have
I,
you
I
have so
know,
much
but
interest in the fictional world that I've created, and I really appreciate that. But at a certain point, you know, I have a real life. I have a real job. I have real relationships. I have, all these different things. And you know what? I just simply don't have the time to go over all this stuff outside of office hours, as you call it. I would just be
well, I
like,
mean, I called it that because of
yeah,
college
no,
stuff, whatever.
sure, sure, no, no, but it works. No, that definitely works. And I would just be like, yeah, you gotta ease up here, man. Get another hobby. Maybe even join a different role playing game besides this one.
Yeah,
If you have all this
yeah,
extra energy and all this extra enthusiasm for it, then direct that somewhere else, because
yeah.
you're already
You
giving us the full amount. If you have more on top of that, take that more on top of that. You want to know the best thing? You know what you could do? The best thing for a person like that: become a dungeon master, make your own campaign.
oh,
There
good
you go.
idea.
There you go. Now you can spend all your energy on all your players, and and then now you
I
get.
I I I had I had what may be the ultimate solution idea for this situation.
Yeah.
You're familiar with Caesar Milan, the dog
Oh
whisperer,
yeah.
right?
Of course. Yeah.
I mean, he's fixed many dogs,
Psst, psst,
overexcited, aggressive,
psst.
whatever. Yeah, whatever.
Is that what you're gonna
He
do to the
fixed.
player?
No, 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 no. He fixed Cartman.
Oh yeah, that's
If he
right. And
can
his
fix
mom was like,
Cartman on, yeah, if he can fix
yeah,
Cartman on, just let's get the dog whisperer in here and with that particular player. And anytime they go to email him, he can go or do a little connect, a little touch correction or. And by the end of the day, that player is going to be well
Yeah.
behaved, balanced,
I mean,
not overexcited.
if that's what it takes, yeah. I mean,
It sounds like this person's overexcited about their character. I
and
don't
it's
know.
great, and you know what? Honestly, I love the
Excitement
positive
is
to a
excitement
degree,
is good.
to a point.
Overexcitement is not.
Yeah, to a point. And then it's like they need to redirect. And you know what? I love that, but that's why I also say that you'll make a great dungeon master yourself because you know what? You have all this energy. You wanna take on players' plots and everything like that. Great, because you know what? At that point, if you're the dungeon master, there's nothing stopping you from continuing, on, and that would be a good place for that. But anyways, all right, so that's all we have right now for
So we need to get former Jay on for
we will
some future
ask we
episodes.
will
Yeah.
ask former Jay if they're willing. Um, if not them, maybe we'll find someone else, or maybe we will try our best, to have empathy, understanding,
Yeah.
clarity, everything regarding issues like that because we don't want to step on any toes, and we also want everyone to feel safe, feel comfortable, feel like they're having fun, that they're entertained, everything like that. So again, Mike's Apartment, Game Master Support. Subscribe, like, dislike, comment, positive, negative comments. Also share, whatever you'd like. And that's all I have for tonight. Anything else that you have, Thom, before we?
Feel free to judge us for some of the comments we made
We
tonight.
tried. We've tried. Okay,
We tried to be fair, but we can't relate to
we're
everybody.
not perfect.
So
Yeah, we're not.
no, we're not.
So
So, but we hope that you enjoyed the show and that you got some helpful information. We hope that our insights were beneficial and yeah, and just have
that,
fun playing the game. If you're not having fun, say something.
yeah, definitely. But alrighty, we'll see you later.
Good night.